Hi, my name's Sarah. I'm a Skills and Development Advisor at Inspira, and today we're going to have a chat with Martyne, who works for Atkins Limited, and she's an Assistant Nuclear Waste Engineer. Hi Martyne.
Hi Sarah.
So the first question, you worked as a beautician before you moved into engineering. Can you tell me about how you were able to change careers?
Yeah, so firstly I made the decision I wanted to move away from beauty therapy after 6 years in the industry and progress with a career in science or engineering. So I looked at the options available to me and I returned to Lakes College to study A-level chemistry. After qualifying with my A-level, I used the Lakes College website to look at what science or engineering courses they had on offer. And as soon as they had started to offer university level courses, Lakes College at the time were running the first university level course, which was a foundation degree in nuclear engineering. So I enrolled onto that, and that was a 3-year part-time course whilst I was running a successful beauty salon. At the same time, I also enrolled onto a 1-year GCSE Maths night class at Whitehaven School. And while I was running a business, I was working full-time, undertaking 2 courses, which was extremely hard work, and it required a lot of self-motivation, but it's definitely been worth it.
Wow.
Yeah, then after completing my foundation degree, I was talking to one of my clients whose partner at the time worked for Atkins. He said the waste services team were recruiting, and so I had an interview for a role there, and I was absolutely over the moon when I got offered the job. And that's how my career started. I'm now in a very challenging but rewarding career, which nearly 3 years in I still absolutely love. After starting with Atkins, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to return to the National College for Nuclear as the first cohort to undertake a higher apprenticeship and bachelor's degree in decommissioning and waste management, which I just completed back in March. So Lakes College and the National College for Nuclear, they offer fantastic courses, we've got a great support network, and I definitely wouldn't have the career that I have today without them. As I never really wanted to move away from the country to go to uni or anything like that. Quite a home person, so the fact that we've got it on our doorstep now, we're very lucky.
Yeah, we are. Fantastic facilities. Okay. What are the pluses and minuses of being self-employed to being an employee?
So there's many advantages and disadvantages of both working for yourself or being employed and working for a company. So my personal experience of being self-employed was I would work ridiculously long hours. I would work 6, sometimes 7 days a week until 7 p.m. as I had a large client base. And then when I started back at college, I was studying 2 days per week, including 1 night per week doing GCSE Maths. And I was working 5 days a week on top of that, so it required a lot of commitment. Another disadvantage of being self-employed is your income's never guaranteed and it's likely to fluctuate on a weekly basis. There's no paid holidays, no sickness pay, and I would manage all my own accounts and expenses, and I would always take my work on holiday. I would never ever switch off. But it's definitely not all bad. So there's definite advantages to having your own business. You can work flexible hours, and you can take leave as and when you please, and you can make your own decisions about your business. So when you're employed, you're part of a team, you have a regular guaranteed income. There's more benefits such as holiday pay, maternity pay. You don't have to do your own tax returns, you've got a pension. Atkins have additional benefits such as the cycle to work scheme, things such as eye care vouchers, gym memberships. And one definite bonus is that we're actively encouraged to switch off completely when we're on holiday. It's very important for your mental well-being, and as I mentioned before, when I was self-employed, I didn't ever fully feel switched off. And I would say the downside of being employed by a company is you have no control of what happens to the business or other things such as who you work with or your hours, things like that.
Thank you. So for you, learning certainly didn't stop at school. But what was it that motivated you to carry on studying how you did?
So when I left school at 16, I was unsuccessful with getting into Gen 2. I always had a goal in the back of my mind about pursuing a career in science or engineering, even when I was a beauty therapist for 9 years. I tried other ways of getting into the nuclear industry, such as technical specialist training scheme, which was available at the time. I'm not sure if that's still around and it. But they had a limited intake of apprentices, and they had hundreds of applicants. So again, I was unsuccessful. So after multiple knockbacks, I looked at other routes, and that's when I found the A-level and university level courses at Lakes College and the National College of Nuclear. So I suppose my biggest motivation was the vision that I had to always become a scientist or an engineer, and both Lakes College and the National College of Nuclear for me to achieve that vision. I went from being a beauty therapist to a nuclear waste engineer in a combined total of 6 years. So even now, studying hasn't stopped. I'm in a career where I'm required to continuously update my knowledge and skills. I'm also a registered scientist and a member of the Institute of Physics. So I'm required to carry out continuous professional development, whether that's watching webinars or attending classroom training.
Fabulous. So motivated. So what is it like being a woman in a predominantly male-dominated work area?
I'm seeing increasingly more females in the workplace, which is great, as gender balance plays an important part in the success of a business. Personally, I don't see any discrimination towards myself as a female in a male-dominated workplace. People sometimes are often surprised when I tell them that I used to be a beauty therapist, but I think that's more to do with the fact that nuclear engineering and beauty therapy don't really go hand in hand. So they're often left confused as to how I've gone from one extreme to the other. Quite a few days I will rock up to the office in a skirt, tights, a nice shirt, my lipstick on, and then I've got to put on my hard hat, a high-vis jacket, steel-toe cap boots and my goggles, and off I'll go to a construction site on Sellafield, and no one bats an eyelid. It's definitely a look. So, as I mentioned before, I work for Atkins, who have an equality, diversity and an inclusion plan, which means that we're committed to recruiting, developing and enabling women. Last year, Atkins increased the intake of female apprentices from 26% to 32%. So there's a definite positive movement in creating a more diverse working environment. But there's definitely still room for improvement across the board. So I've recently taken up a role for Women in Nuclear as social media lead. And one of Women in Nuclear's main aims is to address the nuclear industry's gender balance, which I'm glad to be part of, not just for myself, but for others and future generations.
Fantastic.
Women need to see women in leadership roles as well. So this is essential to attracting and retaining more women to the nuclear industry. At Atkins, our ops delivery lead is female, and so is our waste team group lead. So it's great to see women in higher management roles, and they're both great role models.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Finally, does engineering have to be very mathematical? Many people are put off by the thought of doing maths all day. Is that true?
I would say most engineering disciplines, whether it be mechanical, civil or environmental, etc., are based on the concepts of physics, and at the root of physics is maths. So in both my foundation degree and my bachelor's degree, I studied a lot of maths, such as calculus, trigonometry, differential equations, etc. So maths definitely does play a vital part in engineering. Personally at work, I use maths on a daily basis. So I would say you do need to have a keen interest in maths to pursue a career in engineering. However, there are programs and tools out there to assist, which do make life simpler. But never be put off by maths. If you love your job, maths just makes up a small part of it. And I'm part of a great team, and if you're ever unsure of anything, simply just ask. Never be afraid to ask.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Martyne. That was so interesting, getting an insight into your transition from beautician to engineer. Really, really, really interesting. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.